Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Um, y'all come on in. As you come in, please check in and just say, "Hey, Pastor," or "Good morning." See somebody's in the chat. Just speak to somebody. Say good morning as we get ready to jump in for week 2. Come on. We're gonna wait about another two and a half, about 3 minutes or so, and then we'll start. So as you're coming in, just say good morning. Good morning. Good to see you all today. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Hope y'all are doing all right this morning. Uh, let's while we wait for people to come on, y'all tell me how did y'all do last week with the first week of not speaking negativity of any kind? How y'all do? Y'all let me know. Let me see. Y'all write some stuff in the chat. Write some stuff in the chat. All right. Just say, listen, I did well or I didn't do that well. Just say that to me. I did well. Okay. I'll wait for some responses. Okay. Tell me. Come on. I'll be honest with you. I struggled a little bit, and I'm gonna cover some of this today. But I struggled because sometimes being honest comes across negative, but it's really just being honest. And so having to find that balance. We're gonna talk about that today. About another 30 seconds, we're gonna jump right in. I see some of your responses. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. All right. All right, here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, good morning, Aimwell family, Aimwell Anywhere family. Thank you all for joining us for week 2. We're on week 2. And I just asked those of y'all that probably just checked on within the last minute or so. I asked everybody just how did they do last week with sharing, with fasting from negative speech, right? And so just wanted to see how you all did. So you can report in the chat, say I did well or I didn't do that well, or somebody say I was all right, I was all right. Yeah. So as we start our journey for week 2, I try to share, each time we do a fast, that this is not legalism. This is not, if you engage in something we're trying to fast from, doesn't mean you're going to hell. Fasting is about abstaining. It's about separation. It's about that. And so what I would like for you to do is to see this as a challenge. And so instead of feeding yourself the negative conversations, perhaps it's reality TV can be very negative. It's all looking at fight videos. You can look at something motivational on social media. You can engage in reading your Bible. So there's some Bible reading plans, some devotionals that you can read. I'm trying to encourage you to pivot those moments where you would be choosing to engage in negative speech and talk, and flipping that thing and doing something positive. The second week I wanted to do, I didn't want to make our fast as more diverse as it was last year when we did it. Every week it was something different. This year I felt the need for us to focus on 3 things to fast from. So this week 2 is literally week 2 of fasting from negative speech. And so, of course, what the aim and focus of this week's fast is for us to stay away from any kind of speech of complaining, gossiping, and negativity. And let me also say that I want you all to apply this to your family, because what happens in a lot of cases, we start conversations in our families, and if you watch how things are said and phrased, it points to something that is kind of unique, to be honest with you, because sometimes negativity is so well disguised. Sometimes negativity is disguised as sarcasm, right? So people will say things, "Oh, I'm just being funny," but behind "I'm just joking" is "I'm just serious." Are y'all with me here? And so what I'm encouraging you to do is you got to sometimes, because even being sarcastic is negative. So always having some smart response, or call them smart Alex, that whole piece. Part of that, brothers and sisters, is requiring for you and I to not only guard ourselves from just blatantly negative things, but sometimes negativity, subtle negativity, is called sarcasm. That people always got something smart to say, nothing ever good to say. It's always some smart, sarcastic, some flip of the phrase, flip of a situation. And sometimes people hide their negativity through their sarcasm. And they're really negative people, but they're coming off saying, "I'm just being funny." This is why in families, this is why we got to really get into this family feud situation, because brothers and sisters, it's important, because there are certain habits. I talked about last week how we have the part of this 40-day Lenten fast, and I'll share our tidbit for the week in just a moment. But just as a moment of reviewing, we talked about last week that part of this is to reprogram, is to stop us from doing things the way we've been doing. Sometimes we have to guard what comes out of our mouth. I know, it's particularly in the African American culture. I can't speak for the other ethnicities that have only been around us, but I know in most black families, the person with the smartest mouth is always regarded as, "Oh, that you don't want to talk to her, you want to mess with her." But I've discovered, whenever you are an adult, but you cannot control what comes out of your mouth, that is not a compliment of courage. That's a compliment of immaturity. Because the truth is, sometimes you should not say everything you're thinking. I wish I had somebody to hit some hearts right there. Having a smart mouth is not a compliment, nor is it a sign of strength or authority or anything like that. The truth is, it is not a sign of your authority, it's a sign of your immaturity. Every adult should be able to guard what comes out of their mouths. And the problem is, brothers and sisters, in our families, everybody got a smart mouth, but nobody's saying anything smart. Oh boy, you teaching early this morning. Let me just say this. The problem with a lot of our families, we have everybody's got something smart to say, but nobody has anything smart to say. Y'all understand? Because sometimes, brothers and sisters, we are guilty of just talking for the sake of talking, for the heck of talking. And because we waste our words, we waste our time, and nothing ever gets accomplished but confusion. Nothing gets constructed, but it's plenty of confusion because a whole bunch of people are talking, but nobody's really saying anything. I wish you could help me teach this online. First of all, I need you to share this, but I need you to type in the chat, shut your mouth. So many times in our families, things could be solved if everybody would just make up in their mind to shut up. I'm sorry, I'm not an early person in the morning, but let me just say this. Sometimes you need to just hush. Yeah, because sometimes, brothers and sisters, what fuels so much of the feuds in our families is that everybody always got something to say, and the truth is, not everybody has something valuable to add to the situation. The problem with feuds is that we keep feeding it the fuel of irresponsible words, irresponsible conversation, and what ends up happening is that we take a situation that could have been right here, but because we keep feeding it with our mouths, we keep feeding it with our immaturity, we keep feeding it with our subtle negativity, what ends up happening is that the feud continues to grow. So it could have been solved, but now it's gotten so big. The reason why it gets big is because we keep feeding it. I'm thinking of one of my godsons who I was privileged to see grow up, and the reason why he grew up, I remember when he was a small 10-year-old boy. Now he's 22 years old. And so I got to see the 10-year-old grow into the 22-year-old where he's my height. He's a little slimmer than I am, but he's my height. But I remember he was literally down to my waist as a child. The reason why my son grew is because somebody kept feeding him. And I'm simply telling you, church, that the reason why some of our family feuds keep growing, keep increasing, keep seeming to raise up, I'm telling you, the reason why that is because somebody is feeding it. Would you help me as I'm teaching through this? Would you help me teach this and just say, are you feeding it? Are you feeding it? Yeah. Are you feeding it? That's what I got to ask you today. Because as we're trying to fix family feuds, if we're trying to cut some of the negativity that exists in our family, it requires for you and I to really start looking at ourselves and say, am I feeding this family feud? Is something of me being funny, some joke that I think is funny that nobody else thinks is funny? Can I tell you, I'm asking you, you need to ask yourself, could I be feeding the feud in my family? Because in many cases, a lot of us do not hold ourselves fully accountable for the things that come out of our mouth. Because what we'll say is, I didn't do anything. No, you didn't do anything, but you did say something. And sometimes those who aren't necessarily in the heat of the fight, but don't. So we always. Let me slow it down. So sometimes when we look at a family feud, we look at those that are embroiled in the battle, right? And so we automatically say they're the problem in families, right? Ain't that how we do it? So if they arguing, they're going back and forth. It's their problem. But here's the other side. What are you saying on the sideline? See, I've discovered, thank you, Lord. I've discovered that not only can you get a technical foul from people that are on the basketball court, but you can also get a technical foul from somebody saying something crazy on the bench. And many of us have sat on the sideline saying reckless, immature things. And just because you weren't in the argument directly, you have fed the argument indirectly. Are y'all with me here? And so what you got to understand, whether you're on the main court of the situation or the sideline of it, you still got to guard yourself against negativity. Because the truth is, the reason why we have to guard ourselves against negativity, because we're all still family. I said that for a couple of weeks in a row, that I don't care how difficult your family may be. I don't care how rough your family may be. The truth is this, brothers and sisters, your family is still your family. And I know they get on your nerves, and I know sometimes you hate to see them coming, hate to see them calling. But the truth is, brothers and sisters, that's still your family. And because you're still family, brothers and sisters, we're on the same team. That means if we're fighting, we're losing. If we're fighting each other, we're losing. But if we start to fight the other team, that's the devil. When we start to fight the feud, that's the other side of it. When we start to fight those things, that's when we can win as a family. Look at somebody in the chat and say, I want to win. As a matter of fact, say, I want my family to win. So this week, I'm challenging you to continue this thing. But listen, some of you all said, Pastor, no. I ain't done anything gossiping. But what you may not be gossiping, but you are too sarcastic, though. You always got something smart to say. And every time somebody turn around, you got something sarcastic. Sarcasm is literally subtle negativity. It's negativity wrapped up like a joke. And the truth is, brothers and sisters, all sarcasm is not innocent. So I just said it earlier, I'll repeat it again. Every I'm just joking has a little bit of I'm just serious. Are y'all with me here? And so what I'm challenging you today, I'm challenging you this week that you guard even the sarcastic comments. And when you are tempted to say something smart, I need y'all to lean in, because I know I got some strong sisters in here, and you like to say whatever is on your mind. And I know you think that that's a sign of oh, don't nobody want to mess with me. But can I tell you, something wrong with that. Something wrong when you can be a grown up, but you can't control how you say and what you say to people. I don't care how old you are, because sometimes people get older and they think they can just say what they want to say. No, you still got to be respectful of people. And if your words are intended to help somebody, they shouldn't feel crushed after you use your words. And sometimes that's what negativity does. Negativity cuts, it severs, it injures, it impairs confidence, self-esteem, and even positivity in the situation. And so what I'm challenging you today is to abstain, to keep yourself even from subtly being negative. Because most of us can stop being negative. We can catch ourselves, okay, that's negative. But can you catch yourself from being sarcastic? Because those are those knee-jerk things, and sometimes you can't say everything. I'm going to say this one more time, if I know why the Lord has me here again, but you literally cannot say everything that comes to your mind. Boy, listen, I'm trying to tell you, y'all better be glad the Lord guards my tongue while I'm preaching, because if I were to say some of the stuff that crosses my mind, listen, I probably wouldn't have nobody at the church, because everything that you feel should not be heard. I don't know who I'm talking to. Just because you feel it don't mean they need to hear it. And sometimes I see something here. Sometimes we want people to feel what we feel, but that's not your job. Because sometimes we want people to feel what we feel so they can know how it feels to feel like us, right? But can I tell you, that's not your job. Your job is to love them. It's God's job to prick their hearts. And so many cases, sometimes we're negative with people because they've been hurtful to us, right? And so because of what they've done to us, we automatically become bitter because of their brokenness that we suffer from. And we end up being negative towards people, trying to make them feel what we feel. But the truth is, we only do that because we're trying to teach them a lesson. But the truth is, you're a student, you're not a teacher. And the only person that can teach another human being about life is God. Are y'all with me here? I don't know where that came from, but for somebody, maybe that's I hear you. Maybe that's what you're struggling with in your family now. They hurt you some years ago, and you made up in your mind that ever since they did what they did to you, now you're going to hurt them the way they hurt you. And now you feel like you're in a place in your life where now every time I see them, I have to act this certain way. But can I tell you, you can't make them feel what you feel, because they don't have your same mindset. They don't have your same heart. They don't even have your same experiences. So even if you do the exact same thing to them that they did to you, or try to repay them in some way that you think is going to hurt them, there is no guarantee that you're ever going to impair them the way that they impaired you. You have to leave that kind of stuff to God, because what you're talking about is the heart. And my Bible says that man looks at the outer, but God looks at the heart, which means that you and I do not have a clear view of anybody's heart. We can see their actions, we can see their activity, we can even see their attitude, but we do not have access to their heart. And so I'm simply telling you that you can't allow even the desire to want to get back. We can't allow the desire to want to get back to cause us to want to return energy, to seek revenge, and to give people a piece of what they've given to us. No, you keep your peace, P-E-A-C-E. Keep that peace, and then don't give them a piece of your mind, P-I-E-C-E. Don't give them that, but no, don't give them a piece of your mind, but you keep your peace. And then what you do is learn how to sit back and let God prick their hearts, because can I tell you, God can reach their heart better than you can. Are y'all with me here? So what we're talking about is for the week 2, we're trying to stay not just away from just those overarching negative things. I'm challenging you to now this week. I need you to focus on the subtle negativity, sarcasm, the little jokes that only are funny to you, but never funny to the person you saying it to. Those kind of sarcastic that you say, somebody say they getting a job, or you want to say sarcastically about time. That's not your job. That's negativity. And sometimes we are great at catching the superlative negativities, which by that I mean those big gossiping. Oh, I ain't supposed to be spreading this week. I ain't supposed to be. We can catch that, but can we catch the subtleties, the subtle negative things that are in our lives that literally point to the fact of this one singular thing? It is this. It is that sometimes our negativity is not blatant, but it's silent. It's so silent and subtle that sometimes a person doesn't even realize they've been hit with our negativity until it's too late. You ever heard this phrase, y'all? Their words are so sharp that they can cut you, and you don't know you cut it until they're gone. That's how sarcasm operates. And sometimes we I ain't gonna say unintentionally, but sometimes it is just force of habit and instinct, and it's going unchecked for so long. I can't say you're unaware, but by instinct. We cut people being sarcastic, and it's funny to us, but sometimes sarcasm is a sign of sarcasm is a sign that something is sour in your life. Somebody write that down. Sarcasm. Somebody put this in the chat for me. I need y'all to tweet this today. Sarcasm is a sign that something is sour in you. That's what sarcasm is. Something is sour. And how many of us walk around with sour attitudes? We're so sour when we talk to people. All because something has soured in us. And that sourness is coming out in the form of sarcasm. I'm simply telling you, something in you may be sour. Some issues, some struggle, some strain, and some stress may have strangled or maybe have hurt you to a point to where now that thing has lived in there, and because it lives in there, it sours. It's soured. I mean, it's just soured. And that sourness that lives in your heart now is produced in consistent and repeated sarcasm. I'm simply telling you that it is time to start fixing some of our internal issues, because as I've told you before, the reason why many of us, our feuds continue in our family is because most of us are only acting out of the things that we have yet to resolve. Are y'all with me here? So what I'm simply telling you today is that we need to, last week we focused on the superlative of the negative habits, but now I want you to focus on the subtle negative habits that you have. Sarcasm. Even sometimes sarcasm sounds like this. A person, one of your family members say, well, I'm about to go back to school. And you be like, huh. That's sarcasm. It ain't even a sentence. Sarcasm is so powerful, you don't even need a sentence. Sarcasm can be just some gesture, something that triggers, that's supposed to express something without expressing. That's sarcasm, right? And so again, whenever you find people in our families that are always sarcastic, it's because something sour is in them. And if people are always telling you that you're always sarcastic, maybe you need to take that as a chance to check some of the sourness that may be living in your heart. Why is it easier for you to be sarcastic rather than being enthusiastic about what a person has going on in their life? I don't know about you, but I don't need any sarcastic people in my life. Life is too crazy. The goals I have are too deep. The assignment of my life goes so hard that I need people who are enthusiastically supporting me. And to be honest with you, I don't need anybody who's always has to be sarcastic. Life is too serious. Come on, talk to me here. That's the problem with some people. Life is too serious. And some people, can I tell you, some people play too much. But you got to arrest people in your life and tell them, listen, I'm not here to play. I am not here to make friends. I'm here to do what God has called me to do. Now, I'm cool with going out to eat with you, but if every time I share my dream, share something positive, you feel the need to be sarcastic with me instead of enthusiastic with me, I'm now going to cut some of the ties. I may not cut you off, but I will cut you back, because in this season of my life, I don't need sarcasm. I need enthusiasm. I don't need you to be sarcastic. I need support. I need somebody who's going to support me. Come on, talk to them on. Y'all hit these hearts. I'm talking good. Look at somebody in the chat and say, I need real support. And can I tell you, your family needs real support. I said this a couple weeks ago, and I'll repeat what I just said a couple weeks ago. But the truth is, brothers and sisters, the best support that you can offer your family is you. In many cases, brothers and sisters, many of us don't want to go to our families simply because we are so afraid to be shut down, so afraid to be as soon as they offer us their help, we are afraid that they're gonna tell everybody. And the truth is, that's the reason why many of us don't like going to our families for anything, because family will keep a log and a ledger of the things that they've done for you, and then use that log and that ledger as a leash to hold you hostage and make you their slave, to make you feel indebted to them. But the truth is, brothers and sisters, your family needs your support, real support, not sarcastic. So when your cousin say she going back to school for the third time, say you can do it. When your nephew says I'm gonna leave this stuff alone, he just support him, because you would be surprised how much better people's lives can be, how much better we can make people's lives and even our families when we choose to be positive on purpose. Look at somebody in the chat and say, be positive on purpose. Because when we are positive on purpose, then we push people towards their purpose. We push them on the path that God has for them. I'm simply telling you this week, not only do I want you to not be negative, but make sure you be positive at the same time. Make sure that you decide that I'm going to push my brother, push my cousin, push my sister. Look at somebody and say, I need a push. I need a push. Because can I tell you, that's the only way we're going to make it through 2025. All of these executive orders that have been signed, all of these changes, people are losing their jobs. Government employees, one of the most stable job markets that we have, is experiencing layoffs at an alarming rate. Brothers and sisters, we don't need anybody pulling us. That's what sarcasm is. It pulls a person down. But I need some enthusiasm that's gonna push me up. Look at somebody and say, just push me. I'm already close to the edge. Look at somebody and say, push me. I'm already close to what God has for me. Look at somebody and say, push me, so God can get me where I need to be. Look at somebody and say, push me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Listen, it's been 3 weeks. I hadn't had to preach, so I got to get it out somehow. Y'all just leave me alone now. Yeah. Somebody say, push me. Yeah, push me. Push me. Yeah. And so here's my question again. Here's my question. Why do we need a family feud, a fast? I'm sorry. Why do we need a family fast to address our family feud? The reason why The survey says Lent, it's a Latin word that means 40. Excuse me. It is a commemoration of the 40 days that Jesus spent in the wilderness, fasting from food and drink. But the key to this part is because this whole idea of these 40 days is I told you, it's not Christian origin. It's from the Catholic Church, and they would do baptism once a year, right? And that once a year time that they would do their baptism would be on Easter Sunday. So from Ash Wednesday to Easter Sunday, some 40 days. And what the text is teaching us, brothers and sisters, is that church history teaches us is that in these 40 days, these would be used to be a place for where people would prepare themselves for baptism. They would prepare themselves to be baptized on Easter Sunday morning. So from Ash Wednesday, it was a day of confession and penance. And so it was a day to admit that I need God to step in. All right. So then that's one part. Now on the flip side of the situation, but also there were some people in that day who were what they call excommunicated from the church. These were people who were put out of the church for whatever reason. Maybe have been some sin in that day, because the old church was very, very strict, very, very, I think, pious and self-righteous. And so they would put people out just for falling into some sin, put people out even for causing division and all of those things, which I still believe in. I still believe if you're going to be a part of a church, you need to not be sowing division, but be a part of the unity. As a matter of fact, you need to not be sowing division, but be a part of division. Y'all get the word play? Division. All right. And so I believe in that. So, but in that day, they would excommunicate. Sometimes people would commit crimes. They would excommunicate them. And so now, this Ash Wednesday was not just for those who were baptized or going to be baptized, but in church history, it teaches us this is also for people who were trying to get back in, who were trying to come back into the church, because these people had been excommunicated. They had been put out of the church. But these 40 days was more grace for these people to get their lives together. Can I tell you, these 40 days, brothers and sisters, are critical. I love this, and I want to thank God for my brother Anthony Walker, who helped me to understand a lot of this church history things as it relates to fasting and praying these 40 days. Because when you look at this Lenten fast, Lenten means 40 in the Latin, as I told you last week that these 40 days for the excommunicated as well for the baptized. Historically, number one, it was for us to deprogram, right? All right. So that was the first part. These 40 days is about deprogramming, right? Remember I told you earlier, deprogramming focuses on what you've been doing that doesn't work, right? So the first thing we're asking God to do in these 40 days is, we asked him last week to help us to start seeing the things that we've been doing that just don't work anymore. They don't fit this new operating system that God has for us. So in fact, what we need is to be deprogrammed. That's what we was praying for last week. But this week, our prayer focus has to be not on deprogramming, but now, after God has started to deprogram us, now we want to make sure that we start to pray for reprogramming. Now, let me just say this. In order to deprogram and reprogram your life and your thinking and your habits, it takes longer than 7 days. It takes intentional effort. You don't have to stay like you are unless you want to stay that way. But it takes work. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of intentionality, and you got to hold yourself accountable, right? That's what I'm telling you. So I'm saying this. I'm saying that I want to sell you this bill of goods where I'm selling to you that if you commit to this fast, 6 weeks from now, you're going to be totally changed. No, change is subtle. Change takes time, but it has to start somewhere. Change is hard. Change is long, but you got to start somewhere. And so I'm praying that these 6 weeks, these 40 days, I'm praying that these 40 days gives us an opportunity to deprogram. And to this week, I want to share about reprogramming. Now, when something is reprogrammed, when a computer is reprogrammed, Now, these are the stages. First, they're deprogrammed. So the whole operating system has to be deprogrammed. They have to be taken out, because if you've been operating one way and that way no longer fits and works with what's happening currently and addresses the current needs, you need to deprogram. So you take that program out. Now, then they have to reprogram, which means they have to now place a new program in the computer to help the computer to now learn a new way to operate, because it's in the new operation that more needs can be met. It can be more effective. It can reach and achieve more things, simply because once you reprogram that computer is now working better now, because now the program can match the needs of the setting. I'm simply telling you that we got to now ask God to start reprogramming us. That's the reason why we're fasting from negativity, because the hope of these 2 weeks that I'm challenging you is I'm hoping to challenge you, brothers and sisters, to say, let's reprogram how we respond. Because deprogramming our responses says that we recognize maybe I shouldn't have said it. Maybe I shouldn't engage in it. Maybe I shouldn't. That's the deprogramming. Reprogramming says, now let's be positive. So in the event that you're faced with a family member who's coming to you for encouragement or advice, or just want to share something with you, I know that they've been in jail 3 times, and I know that you've seen them try before and they failed. But listen, try being positive for a change. Try being positive with them. Now, I'm not telling you now. I need you to understand this, because some people will say, well, if you tell a person about themselves, that's being negative. No, that's being truthful. Now, the truth may hurt, and it may feel negative to the person you're telling the truth to. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about here. I'm not saying don't call somebody on their stuff. That's called accountability. That's not negativity. I want y'all to get it. Don't get it twisted. So I want you to spend this week not telling. No. There's a difference when being realistic and holding the person accountable, which requires for you to say something that they may not like or want to hear. That's not negativity. That's accountability. Are y'all with me here? Look at somebody in the chat. Say there's a difference between accountability and negativity. Negativity is unnecessarily being negative. Accountability says it sometimes may be necessary for me to say something negative in order to get you on the positive side. Are y'all with me? So I don't want you. I don't want you to not hold nobody accountable, because you need to hold some people accountable in your life. But that's not negativity. Again, that's accountability. Accountability says that sometimes, brothers and sisters, I have to get to a place where I can say to somebody, you're wrong, but I still love you. Because accountability doesn't mean that I cut you off because I call you out. No, accountability says I can call you out, but I can still hug you and still tell you I'm with you, but you're dead wrong. All right. That's not being negative. That's being accountable. Now, so the reprogramming part about our lesson this morning is simply because, brothers and sisters, we need God to give us a better operating system. A better operating system to operate differently. So many times, brothers and sisters, we keep praying prayers, but we haven't been deprogrammed, nor have we been reprogrammed. And our prayers simply sit on the shelves of our prayer life, waiting for us to stop doing stuff that we've been doing and to start doing some things that we have not done. Boy, you better teach in this day. Listen, I'm telling y'all, I missed the pulpit, so since I can't, I'm supposed to be taking a little time to rest, and I need it. Lord knows I do. Let me get this preach out right here this morning. Y'all don't mind, do you? Y'all hit some hearts. If y'all okay with your pastor preaching a little bit while I'm teaching today, I'm telling you, our prayers go unanswered because we have yet to stop doing what we've been doing, and we haven't started doing what we need to be done. I need y'all to write that in the chat, because I like to go back and look at these comments. A lot of this stuff, the majority of the things that I'm saying is coming from strictly from God downloading in my spirit, and I'm just sharing it with you. Some of our prayers go unanswered in our lives because we have yet to stop. I need y'all and it's a long way to say it. Some of our prayers go unanswered because we have yet to stop the things we've been doing, and we have not started doing the things that we need to be doing. That is the reason why. That's the whole idea of deprogram and reprogram. God is saying, I need you to not only stop doing what you've been doing, but I need you to start doing what you need to do. So you need to stop being negative and start being positive. Stop being sarcastic and start being enthusiastic. And can I tell you, there's no sense of us asking God to give us more, to increase, to improve if you gonna keep doing what you've been doing and never start doing what you need to do. Or some of us, brothers and sisters, want to start doing what we need to do while we're still doing what we used to do. And what you call those people are crazy. I'm sorry, not crazy. You call them contradictory. They are walking contradictions. Whenever you see somebody doing what they should do and what they shouldn't be doing, that's a walking contradiction. And for those of you that are in that space, you got to make a decision which direction you want to go in. Because the truth is, brothers and sisters, if you want to go where God is, where your prayers are going, then you got to slowly but surely, intentionally, and be dedicated enough to stop doing so much of the things that you've been doing and start doing the things that you need to do. I hope, am I helping somebody? If I'm helping somebody, say you helping me, Pastor. You helping me. Y'all hit those hearts if you've been helped today. Help. Listen, y'all got me breaking a sweat today. I didn't mean to do it this morning, but it's something about the word as I'm sharing with you all about this fast, because again, I need to tell you this, I told you, survey says not only this Lenten fast is important because not only is it because that we need to be deprogrammed, but we also need to be reprogrammed. We need to not only do we not need to stop doing the things we've been doing, we need to start doing some things that we haven't been doing. Are y'all with me here? Come on, y'all hit those hearts. Yeah. So here's what I'm saying, church. Take these next 7 days and ask God to keep deprogramming, but also ask him to start reprogramming. Reprogramming how you respond, react, and the seeds you sow. Reprogramming your perspective, reprogramming your thinking and your behavior. Because, brothers and sisters, it is our choice whether we want to deprogram and reprogram so that we can get on God's program, right? Excuse me. So I'm pushing this morning. I'm pushing that you would spend these next 7 days, spend this time asking God to reprogram how you act, how you respond, what you say. And I hear somebody saying in the chat, but Pastor, I'm too old to change. No, you're not. As long as you have breath in your body, if you're not laying in your grave, that means God is giving you another day of grace to make the necessary changes for your life. And I'm challenging you. Listen, this family feud, this family fast is critical for me, brothers and sisters. And the reason why it's critical, because God has pressed on my heart that this is how we fix our families. We fix our families one soul at a time. As a matter of fact, that's our motto as a church. We're reaching souls we're changing the world by reaching one soul at a time. This is how we're going to change. This is how you're going to change your family. How do you change your family? Do you get everybody on the same page at the same time? If you can, God bless you. But most of us, you can't do that. So what you do, you start with one family member at a time, and slowly but surely, that's how we develop disciples, one soul at a time. That's how we develop leaders, one leader at a time. Were you blessed this morning? Were you blessed? Were you blessed? I've been enjoying. I hope you've been blessed and enjoying what God has been sharing with us these last couple of weeks. Listen, this week I'm challenging you. Listen, last week we focused on the superlative, that of the negativity. But I'm challenging you this week to focus on the subtle, the sarcastic, the jokes, the I'm just saying moments in your life. Now, again, accountability and negativity, they may feel the same, but they are not the same. Just because you're telling somebody that something they're doing is not right doesn't mean you're being negative. That means you're holding them accountable. However, being unnecessarily negative is being negative. That's negativity. All right. So we're getting ready to go. Let me pray and let you go to work. Listen, I want you to have an amazing week. Listen, let's focus this week Thank you all so much for yesterday and for blessing your pastor, being a blessing to me. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much. And I'll give you all a more formal thank you on Sunday. But listen, brothers and sisters, this is week two. Let's dive in. Let's go ahead and really lock down on this fast to make sure that we are fasting from negativity, so that God can give us some possibilities and some positivity, and even our destiny issues, some of those destiny moments in our lives. Listen, I don't know about you, but I want 2025 to be a year that I can dream again. And if I can dream well, I believe the only way we can dream well is when our families are intact. This is our family fast. This is our Monday motivation. I will close us out in prayer, and then I'll let you have the rest of your week. Come on, let's bow our heads. God, thank you for this day. Thank you for every person that tuned in, that will tune in to this live experience. Thank you so much for what you've done. Thank you for what you spoke in today. Thank you for speaking in the moment of this teaching, the things I didn't write, didn't plan. You spoke in the space that I hope reached somebody's heart. Help us, God, during this fast to focus on our family, to spend the time that we would have spent doing some other things, that we're going to spend it fixing our family, fixing our faith, so that we can put more of our faith in you, to read your word. And I'm praying for somebody's family today who's going to be impacted by the challenge. Maybe the generational curse breaker is tuned in right now, and their family is waiting for them to start the change. And give them courage and boldness, God, and help them to live by this creed that's been a part of this sermonic series, which is, it may have run into our family, but it ran in our family until it stopped. It ran in our family until it ran into us. And so thank you for letting it run into us so we can stop it with us, so we don't pass it along to our generations and those that are part of our lineage and legacy. I pray, God, for stronger families, that you allow this family to repair before the repast, so that that you can get the glory out of their lives. God, thank you for what you're speaking in this hour. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. All right, family, listen, thank y'all for joining me again for Monday Motivation for our family fast. I'll see you on Sunday if I don't see you before then, but you know this, I'll see you when I see you. Peace. Love your family. Peace.